Hello students, welcome back to maths class. I think slowly you are getting used to this definite integrals, right? So definite integrals means first we will solve the problem by using our normal integral form, then we will substitute the limits in the function, first upper limit then lower limit. Okay, so now we will solve some problems. First exercise over. Before going to the second exercise, we will solve some example problems which are very important. Okay, so now come to this one. See, from this topic 15 marks are there, one 7 marks question, one 4 marks question short answer, and two marks questions very short answers are there. So come to the first question, right? This is your first question. What is the given question to you? Find the integral minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 sine of mod x dx. Right, this value we have to find. If it is only x, no problem, but here mod x is given to us. So you know that whenever mod x is given to us, its value mod x is equal to x. Yes, here I will write so that you will know. Mod x is equal to x if x is less than 0. Is it right? Mod x is equal to minus x if x is less than 0, is equal to x if x is greater than 0. So if x value is less than 0, your mod x will be, okay, let me write clearly, mod x is equal to minus x. If x value is greater than 0, then your mod x value is x. Okay, so that's why here we will take directly sine mod x value, right? Sine mod x is equal to, we can write this as sine of minus x if x is less than 0, right? Sine of minus theta minus sine theta minus sine x, okay? And is equal to sine x, okay, if your x is greater than 0. If x is less than 0, mod x will be minus x, and sine of minus theta is minus sine theta, right? Sine of minus theta is equal to minus sine theta by trigonometry. Okay, so these are the functions, and also we know one formula. What is that? Integral a to c f of x dx is equal to integral a to b f of x dx plus integral b to c f of x dx if, come on, your value, which value, b value is lies in between a and c. B value lies in between a and c. Then we can split this function into two functions. So here also, now if you observe your given integral minus pi by 2 pi by 2. In between minus pi by 2 pi by 2, 0 will be there, isn't it? So we can split into two integral form. How we can split? So integral minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 sine of mod x dx is equal to, first we will take minus pi by 2 to 0 sine of mod x dx plus integral 0 to pi by 2 sine of mod x dx. Okay, so where your 0 lies in between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, we applied this formula, right? So whenever a to c is there and b is in between a and c, we can split this integral into two integral forms. So here also we are doing like this. So you can ask why you are doing like this means, actually mod x is given. So this mod x value is if x less than 0, one value. If x greater than 0, another value is there. For that sake, here we have taken this minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 as minus pi by 2, 0, and 0 to pi by 2. We can take the value. Okay, so come on, is equal to, what happens to your integral minus pi by 2 to 0 means less than 0, isn't it? Minus pi by 2 till 0, so less than 0. So your mod x value, sin mod x is equal to sin of minus x, that is minus sin x, isn't it? So it is minus sin x dx plus integral, next we can take this as 0 to pi by 2, right? This is 0 to pi by 2, sin of mod x, right? Here whenever x is greater than 0, 0 to pi by 2 means x value is greater than 0. If x value is greater than 0, this value is sin x, isn't it? So you take this as sin x into dx. Okay, so what happens to your value is equal to, you take this minus outside and integral of sin x is minus cos x. Okay, once integral is taken, you have to take the limits on right side. Okay, similarly plus integral sin x is minus cos x. Okay, so take the limits on right side. Once integral over, we have to take the limits on right side. So now here minus of minus plus, so it is cos x to the power of minus pi by 2 to 0. Here plus of minus minus, and here cos x, here the limits are 0 to pi by 2. So in the derived function, wherever x is there, first we have to substitute upper limit, then we have to substitute lower limit. So it is cos of 0 minus, come on, cos of minus pi by 2, upper limit minus lower limit. Same thing there also, it is cos of pi by 2 minus cos of 0. Okay, so cos of minus theta is cos theta. Remember, cos of minus theta is cos theta. Sin of minus theta is minus sin theta. But cos of minus theta is cos theta. So, come on, cos 0 value is 1 and cos of minus theta is cos theta. So, cos 90, that is 0. Okay, minus cos 90, 0, and cos 0 is 1. So, it is 1 minus 0, that is 1, minus 0 minus 1, minus 1, minus of minus plus 1, that is 2. Okay, so this is your answer for the first question. Okay, so it is integral minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 sin of mod x dx. Okay, so now come to the second question. What is your second question? It is integral 0 to 2 root of 4 minus x square into dx. Okay, so there is one standard formula in integrals. What is that? Integral root of a square minus x square dx is equal to x into root of a square minus x square by 2 plus a square by 2 into sine inverse of x by a. This is the standard formula in integrals. Now if you observe, we can write this as integral 0 to 2 root of 4 can be written as 2 square minus x square dx. Exactly in that form, isn't it? In place of a, we are having 2. Okay, so substitute in the formula. So then what happens? It is x into root of a square 2 square minus x square by 2 plus a square means 2 square. 2 square by 2 into sine inverse of x by a, x by 2. Okay, so for this you take the limits, that is 0 to 2. Okay, so that means after applying the formula we have to take the limits on right side. Okay, so after that in x place first you substitute the upper limit and then in x place we have to substitute the lower limits. Come on, first substitute the upper limit. Wherever x is there, there we have to substitute. What is the upper limit? That is 2. So substitute. So it is 2 into root of 2 square minus 2 square by 2 plus, this is 2 square by 2 means only 1 2 will be there, and sine inverse, come on, 2 by 2. So upper limit over. So in the entire function wherever x is there, first upper limit, next minus, in the entire function wherever x is there we have to take 0, right? 0 into 2 square minus 0 square by 2 plus same thing, 2 square by 2 means 2 sine inverse of, come on, 0 by 2. Okay, so is equal to, this will be 2 square minus 2 square 0, root 0 is 0, 0 into something, 0 into 0 divided by something is 0. So no need to take this value. So it is 2 sine inverse 2 to cancel, it is 1, right? Minus 0 into something, 0 by anything, 0. Next plus of minus, minus 2 sine inverse, what is that? 0 by anything is 0. Okay, so is equal to, we can write this as 2 sine inverse. Come on, I said whenever sine inverse or tan inverse, cos inverse outside, inside the bracket try to write the value in terms of sine only, so that sine inverse sine will get cancelled. So 1 is there, so we can write this as sine 90, isn't it? Sine 90 is 1, that is 90 means pi by 2 minus 2 sine inverse, sine 0 is 0. Okay, so is equal to 2 into sine inverse sine cancel, so it is pi by 2 minus 2 into sine inverse sine cancel, it is 0. So is equal to 2 to cancel, pi minus 0 is equal to pi. That is the answer of your second question. So come on, 0 to 2 root of 4 minus x square dx. So what I said, definite integrals. So just applying the formula. Once we got the answer, we got the function, that means value in terms of x. In that function, wherever x is there, first upper limit minus wherever x is there, we have to substitute lower limit and simplify. Finally you will get one definite value. That's why they are definite integrals. Okay, now come to the third question. What is your third question? Integral 0 to pi by 2, right? Cos of 5 by 2 by sine 5 by 2x plus cos of 5 by 2x dx. Okay, so come on, how we will solve that third question? Observe carefully. So first you consider the given function as some integral. We are doing integrals, no? So we will take this third question as I is equal to, first you take this as I is equal to, what happens? This I is equal to 0 to pi by 2. This function can be written as cos x to the power of 5 by 2 by sin x to the power of 5 by 2 plus cos x to the power of 5 by 2, right, into dx. You consider this as equation number 1. So we know that cos square theta or cos theta whole square, both are same. So we can write this as cos x to the power of 5 by 2 or cos 5 by 2 x, both are same. Okay, and there is one standard formula in definite integrals. Integral 0 to a f of x dx is equal to, come on, how we can take integral 0 to a? I said most repeated formula in definite integral. Suppose 0 is there and some value is there, a is there, right? Then f of x dx can be taken as 0 to a, right? F of a minus dx. This is most repeated formula in integrals, definite integrals, right? So now we will apply this formula for this. So I is equal to, what happens? Here also 0 to a form. Whenever problem is in 0 to a f of x dx, we have to take 0 to a f of a minus x dx. In a place we are having pi by 2, right? So we can apply this formula. So what happens to this value? Cos x to the power of 5 by 2 by sin x to the power of 5 by 2 plus cos x to the power of 5 by 2 into dx can be written as 0 to pi by 2. In a place we are having pi by 2. So in the function wherever x is there, we have to take a minus x. So is equal to integral 0 to pi by 2 cos of, come on, a minus x. A minus x means we have to write pi by 2 minus x. In a place we are having pi by 2, right? By, come on, sine of pi by 2 minus x to the power of, power is there 5 by 2. Here also power is there 5 by 2 plus cos of, come on, pi by 2 minus x to the power of 5 by 2 into dx. So what is this? 90 minus theta. So whenever 90 minus theta, it belongs to first quadrant, right? So whenever it is first quadrant, I said all ratios are positive in first quadrant, isn't it? So 90 minus theta means first quadrant in our trigonometry. Whenever it is in first quadrant, all angles, all ratios, right? Angle is in first quadrant, all ratios will be positive, right? And for 90 minus 90 plus, ratio changes. Cos changes to sine, sine changes to cos. Okay, so your value will be 0 to pi by 2, right? Cos changes to sine. All are positive, so no change in the sign. Sign means plus minus. Okay, so this is sin x to the power of 5 by 2 by cos. This sign changes to cos, cos changes to sine. So this is sine. So it will be cos x to the power of 5 by 2 and cos changes to sin x to the power of 5 by 2. You consider this as your second equation. So we got I is equal to, isn't it? We have taken I. So I is equal to this one. By first equation, I is equal to this one. By second equation, I is equal to this one. So you add 1 plus 2. Okay. So if we add 1 plus 2, what happens? I plus I, it is 2i. Okay. 2i is equal to 0 to pi by 2. Come on. First, in the first one, it is cos x, isn't it? So cos x to the power of 5 by 2 by sin x to the power of 5 by 2 plus cos x to the power of 5 by 2 plus, come on, same integral 0 to pi by 2. Now sin x to the power of 5 by 2 by cos x to the power of 5 by 2 plus sin x to the power of 5 by 2 dx. Here also dx, here also dx. So if you observe, both are having same limits. In an integral, if both are having same limits, we can write combinedly, isn't it? Right? 0 to pi by 2. And also if you observe, in downwards, both are having same values. Sine to the power of 5 by 2, cos to the power of 5 by 2, cos to the power of 5 by 2, sine to the power of 5 by 2. So LCM is same. We are adding these two values. Why? Same limits are there, lower limit and upper limits are same. So we have to take the two values combinedly. If we take two values combinedly, we can take the LCM. LCM is same for both, right? So it is sin x to the power of 5 by 2 plus cos x to the power of 5 by 2. So now here we can take cos x to the power of 5 by 2 plus sin x to the power of 5 by 2 into dx. Both are same. So we'll get cancel. So is equal to integral 0 to pi by 2. Come on. What is the leftover value? Dx. Integral dx is x. It is most repeated formula again, isn't it? Once it is over, right side we have to write the limits. So in that derived function, first in x place we have to substitute upper limit minus lower limit. So is equal to pi by 2. That is the answer of this question. Okay, so this is our third question. So observe carefully, 0 to pi by 2. This function is given to you. So you take I is equal to that function. And most repeated formula in definite integral is 0 to a. That means the limits are from 0 to some value. Instead of a, formula means, already I said so many times, general form, right? So here instead of a, you can have any number. So 0 to a, f of x dx can be taken as 0 to a, f of a minus x dx. Okay, so here in this problem 0 to pi by 2 is there. In a place, pi by 2 is there. So in x place, we have to take a pi by 2 minus x in the function. Okay, by applying this formula, we got another I. Add these two I, right? So this is our 2I, right girls? This is our 2I, okay? So now 2I is equal to pi by 2. So I is equal to pi by 2 is there already, right? So 2 into 2, pi by 4. That is the answer. Be careful. We want I value. Why I value? We have taken this is equal to I. Okay. So at the end we have to get this value. What is this? This is I. So we have to get I value. Okay. Now come to the fourth question. Observe the fourth question carefully. Actually, if the limits are not there, it is the important 2 marks question in integrals, isn't it? If you practiced nicely, then you can recognize this problem easily, isn't it? What is the question given to you? Find the integral from fourth question. What is that fourth question? Find the integral from 2 to 3. 2x by 1 plus x square dx. So if limits are not there, right? So if you observe this problem, integral 2x by 1 plus x square dx is given to us in our integrals. By taking substitution, we solve that problem, isn't it? We have taken this as t. If we differentiate, we'll get this value, isn't it? Same thing here also we have to do. But only thing, the difference between the definite and indefinite is we have to apply the limits here. So come on, solution. You take t is equal to 1 plus x square. Then you differentiate with respect to x on both sides. D by dx of t is equal to, come on, d by dx of 1 plus x square. So this is nothing but dt by dx is equal to d by dx of s. Whenever two numbers are there, we have to write separately, plus d by dx of x square. D by dx of 1 is 0 plus d by dx of x square is 2x. Okay, so what will be your dt now? Which value you got? You got dt by dx is equal to 2x. Now send dx that side. Dt is equal to 2x dx. Okay, observe 2x dx is there. But remember, in definite integrals, if we go for substitution, we are changing the problem in terms of t. Actually, problem is in terms of x. But by using substitution, we are changing the problem into t. Okay, so limits also must be changed in terms of t. These limits are, what is the meaning of this problem? Find the integral from x is equal to 2 to x is equal to 3, isn't it? The problem is given as find the integral 2x by 1 plus x square dx from x is equal to 2 to x is equal to 3. But we have taken t is equal to 1 plus x square and we are converting entire problem in terms of t. This becomes t and this becomes dt. Now your problem is in terms of t, means limits also must be in terms of t. So in definite integrals, always remember, whenever we go for substitution, we have to change the limits also in terms of t. If we take t is equal to something in any problem, we have to change the limits also in terms of t. So how we will change? See, upper limit. First, what is the given upper limit? It is x is equal to 3 is the upper limit. Substitute this x is equal to 3 in your t value. What is your t value? T is equal to 1 plus x square, that is 1 plus 3 square. What is that? 1 plus 9 is equal to 10. So now your t value is 10, upper limit. Now come to lower limit. So how we will take lower limit? Lower limit is given as x is equal to 2. Right. So you take t is equal to 1 plus x square, isn't it? So in x square we can take 1 plus 2 square. So it is 1 plus 4, that is 5. Okay, so now we changed the limits also in terms of t. So you change the problem. Take the problem now. How? Integral 2 to 3 2x dx by 1 plus x square is equal to integral 2 to 3. We got the limits as 5 to 10. This is dt by t. We have taken 1 plus x square as t. So is equal to, it is log t, standard form integral dt by t is log t. From our integrals, if you are perfect with the formula, you can solve it easily, right? So it is 5 to 10 is equal to, come on, now in the function wherever t is there, upper limit, and in the function minus lower limit, we have to substitute, that is log 10 minus log 5. So come on, log m minus log n. Log m by n is the formula. Log m minus log n is equal to log of m by n is the formula. So is equal to log 2 is the answer of this question. Okay, so actually girls, without these limits, it is nothing but our previous integral problem only. That's why I said, while dealing the integral, I said so many times, this is the basics and we are going to use all these formulas again in one lengthy unit. That unit is definite integrals. Okay, so by normal integrals method you find out the value, but here the special thing is we have taken the substitution. Whenever substitution is there, we have to change the limits also. Actually, after the substitution we will convert entire problem in terms of t, if you observe, isn't it? In substitution means we will take t is equal to something. So after finding derivative and substituting, entire problem will be in terms of t. So limits also must be in terms of t. Okay, so substitute them and simplify, you will get one definite value. Okay, so that's all for today. Have a nice day.